We're going to draw some different types of shapes today. Inside the Locker and School Loop, you're going to find a file called Drawing Different Shapes. Download that. When you open it up, it's going to give you a message, and you're going to go ahead and click Ignore, and then the document will open. There's actually 3 artboards to this, not just one. I'm going to work with the left one and work to the right, and I'm going to zoom in here. I'm using my zoom tool, and then or you can hold Z on the keyboard. My space bar will let me grab and navigate. I'm going to go ahead and start with my rectangle. If you put your mouse right in the middle, it tells you where the center is. Hold the Option key and drag out. I'm going to set this to a black fill, just like the sample. And then this one is a different tool. I'm going to start off with my round rectangle. So Option key, and I'm going to go out. I'm going to leave the sides along the edge straight. And I know that the shape is not exactly the same, so let me show you with the fill turned off what we're going to do. Our selection tool, I'm going to go ahead and click once on the left corner, hold Shift, select on the second one, 3, 4. Those are now hollow, and I can drag them in together. Don't drag them in too much. And then you can just alter the top, alter the bottom, and then turn your fill back on. If you can still see the dotted lines, you can go ahead and increase your stroke size, and that should actually take care of the edge. All right, let's go to our circle. We're going to increase it by holding the Option key. I'm also holding my Shift key for this. I find it to be a better way for circles. A triangle, it's good to hold down the Shift key and the Option key, so we're going to grab our polygon tool. You guys have used this before. Shift and Option to keep it nice and pointed and straight. And I'm going to click down with my mouse, or let go of my mouse first. Okay. It's hard to find, but there is a center to this guy right there. I'm going to increase my sides, not too fast. Hold Shift and Option. This is starting to get a little bit big, so I'm just going to hold my Shift and Option as I drag it in and bring it down, and you can just move it around. Okay, moving on. I'm grabbing my space bar so I can, holding my space bar so that I can drag the artboard. We're going to take a selection tool and select both of these. Then we're going to go ahead and use what's called the Shape Builder tool. And if you notice it has a plus sign, I'm just going to drag my mouse through. So now I have a white area. And what we're doing is we're actually replicating this shape. So we're using these to make this. I'm going to grab my selection tool again. And this time I want this shape, but I need to cut instead of add. So with your Shape Builder, if you hold the Option key down, you can actually cut into the areas. And we're going to do the same thing for the eyeball or the moon. I'm going to cut this away with my Option key held down, just like that. And then I'm going to put this down right on top. And now I'm ready to assemble. So I'm going to go ahead and put my blue first, adding my black. There is a little bit of a shift, showing a little bit of white, so I'm going to actually make that a little bigger. I'm going to grab my eye, put it in the center, and then I'm going to grab my moon with my black circle and put that in the center. And there you go. All right, now for the third artboard, I'm going to use everything that I learned on the first artboard, and I'm going to decrease the outlines or stroke size. Now this blue background is not locked, so you have to be careful not to grab it by accident. And you'll see what I mean when we get to the third shape. So I'm going to try to find center. It's not telling me where it is. So I'm going to go ahead and just guess. I'm going to go down, hold Option and Shift to keep my triangle nice and straight. And if it ends up a little bit bigger, that's okay, but you can also bring it in a little bit. I can do eye for eyedropper and actually pick up the color and the stroke size. Alright, I'm going to zoom in on this one so you can see. I'm going to start with a circle, so I'm going to hold my Option key and drag out. I'm going to then use my polygon tool to make a triangle. And yes, I am making this bigger, but there's a reason. So I held my Option and my Shift key and let go of my mouse. You can grab your direct selection tool, which is the white arrow. I'm going to turn my fill off for a second so you can see this. And if I click once on the anchor point and I click and drag, it will come with me this time. And I'm going to go ahead and hit I and color it in white. And I did bring it into the circle because I'm going to have to merge them with the Shape Builder tool. So I'm going to go ahead and start in the middle, hold the Option key, drag outward. Hold the Option key, and drag outward. And then I'm going to click on the circle. I'm holding my Shift key down. The Shift key is letting me select more than one thing at one time. And then with my Shape Builder, I can merge those together. Okay, now you're going to take these shapes and you're going to start building a robot. It cannot look like this, and it cannot include any of these shapes. These shapes can be included, but you have to be able to create this alone. I'm going to hold Shift and select all of these. I'm actually going to group it together so that it comes with all the parts. And if you wanted to make sure that your shapes are aligned with each other, you can select them without selecting the background, and you can align them and they'll shift. So like for instance, if this was off by a little bit and I just wanted to align them, I could shift them together. And I'm going to add eyes, arms, legs, everything. You need 20 shapes for this to work. Okay, that's all. Go ahead and finish this, save it, and then turn it in on Schooloop.